How's it going, guys? It's Doc. There are a ton of economic events that are hitting this week that will directly impact Bitcoin's price. We're going to talk about all those events in this video and specifically how you should navigate them to not get caught. Before we get started, consider hitting the like button and subscribing if you want to see more content like this. We're just going to get right into it. Bitcoin right now has kind of been floating around $107,000. This is the 4-hour chart, and you can just see a lot of chop in this area. And it's because, in my opinion, the market is trying to digest what is going to happen this week. Now, yes, Friday is a holiday and the stock market's closed because of 4th of July in the US, but crypto trades 24/7. With that being said, Bitcoin and stocks are closely related, and we're going to talk about what's influencing the market right now. So you can see over the past day or so, we've been floating in between 108-ish and 106-ish thousand dollars, just chopping back and forth. Now, obviously, there was some lower volume this weekend, and then we started to pick up a little bit more as the week has progressed. As all of this has been happening, you can see on the 4-hour chart, the MACD is still red. This is this area down below. But if we switch that over to a daily chart, you can see that the MACD has flipped bullish, green down here, and that is reassuring. You can see the same story here on the daily chart. We have some wicks here, and Bitcoin right now is just kind of respecting this channel right in here. The other thing that I want to talk about is Bitcoin dominance. It's fallen a little, but it is still substantially increased over the past couple months. If we change this to the weekly view, although we did hit 66% briefly, this has been nothing but almost up and to the right since the late part of 2022. I suspect eventually, once we get rate cuts and quantitative tightening stops, we're going to talk about that in just a second, that Bitcoin dominance will fall, and that will send your altcoins and favorite memes absolutely skyrocketing. So this is the Bitcoin dominance, reassuring in a lot of ways. I want to take a quick look at this chart. For those who aren't aware, this is the Fed's balance sheet. And this is the sheet that folks reference when they talk about quantitative easing and quantitative tightening. And just a quick review for those who are new here, as the Fed increases their balance sheet by buying mortgage-backed securities and treasury bonds, that increases the balance sheet, and this stimulates a risk-on environment. This is good for Bitcoin, the S&P, and risk-on assets, okay? Think about it as the US charging their credit card. The opposite is also true, though. During quantitative tightening, which we're in right now, the Fed is reducing the size of its balance sheet. They are selling off mortgage-backed securities and these treasury-backed bonds, and that creates a vacuum. It creates a risk-off environment where stocks and Bitcoin, think of it as them swimming upstream. It's a little bit tougher, but they can still do well. And as you can see, the Fed was reducing its balance sheet quite aggressively, but they've since slowed down the rate that they're selling these. And at some point, they will stop or pause QT, and that'll be good for risk on assets. The other thing that I want to just take a really quick look at is here we have the dollar index. This is also known as the Dixie, and this is really important. We want the Dixie to fall because a lower dollar is good for risk on assets. Think about it like this. If you had a truck full of pennies, and traditionally you'd think, okay, every 100 pennies is $1. But what if I told you, hey, now every 96 pennies is $1? You would like that because at the end, you would have more dollars. So we want this to fall down. I'm going to overlay Bitcoin's price here in orange. Now you'll see, I want you to draw attention right here. As the Dixie starts to fall down and shows weaker value, Bitcoin increases, right? So ideally, we would want the Dixie to continue to fall because that makes a very bullish narrative for Bitcoin to fly. And when Bitcoin flies, eventually alts will follow. Now, the next FOMC meeting is in July, specifically July 30th. And right now, there's an 80% chance that we don't get a rate cut. But if we look at the aggregated percentages, we can see that by September, they are projecting an 86% chance that we get at least one rate cut. And rate cuts are really, really good for risk on assets. I want to take a quick look at this chart. Here we can see in yellow, the global M2 money supply. That's all the money that exists in the entire world. And the orange chart here. Don't get lost in the noise. You can see this yellow chart. It's actually been pushed forward by 83 days. And if Bitcoin continues to follow the M2 global money supply, we could potentially see close to a $200,000 Bitcoin. Okay, lastly, some big economic data this week, right? Invest with Doc, he says that on Tuesday, that's depends on when you're watching this, early, later today or tomorrow, the JOLTS openings. And that's going to be really good because the Fed watches that to see how the economy is doing. We also have non-farm payrolls. And the big one, in my opinion, in Thursday, it's going to be the jobless claims and the unemployment rate. We want a low unemployment rate, okay, because that shows that the economy is doing well. If the unemployment rate goes up, the Fed may be more inclined to cut rates, but that could also signal that a recession may be looming. Lastly, the U.S. Senate, they're voting on Trump's big, beautiful bill. And if this gets passed, this will lead to more money printing, which means more money to flow into Bitcoin and your favorite alts. So this, in my opinion, is very, very bullish in the short term for crypto and risk on assets. You can make the argument this may not be as bullish long-term for the US's deficit, but in the short term, I do think it'll cause Bitcoin and alts to fly. Okay. Don't get lost. There's a lot going on here in this chart. I want to have you pay attention to July and August. Right now, we're in 2025. Let's look at other post-halving years. That would be 2021. And in 2021, we had an 18.5 and a 22.3% increase respectively in July and August. You think, oh, that might just be an outlier, Doc. Let's go to the post-halving year prior to that. In 2017, well, we have a 12 and a 77% increase in price for July and August, respectively, for those post-halving years. So if you're bullish on Bitcoin, this could actually be a good summer. Don't fall for the trap, sell in May and go away, because the last two post-halving years have proven to be very, very bullish for Bitcoin. Now, if you're interested in Bitcoin and one of the most popular memes on Bitcoin, it's going to be the Bitcoin Bull, right? The Bitcoin Bull token. This is Bitcoin's best crypto presale. And what they're showing is that if you buy Bitcoin Bull, the BTC Bull token, you can actually get Bitcoin airdrops, which is really, really interesting. They also have a staking to earn platform, and they have token burn milestones. So if you're looking to potentially get outsized returns, none of this is financial advice. We can't give you financial advice because we're not financial advisors. But if you're looking to have some fun with a meme that's based on Bitcoin, consider checking out BTC Bull token. There'll be a link down below to participate in the presale. Now, if you guys got any value out of this, I would consider hitting the like button, subscribing so you can see more content like this, and we'll see you guys in our next video.